dudes, what is up with this unit? It's actually this unit over here. So I had like 20, over 20 degrees subcooling, and not a whole lot of superheat. So I started pulling out some charge. Unit stayed online. I pulled out 5 pounds out of this. It holds 181 ounces, so that's going to be what, like 11, 12 pounds or something. I pulled out 5 pounds already. I'm letting it run, and now all of a sudden, my high side's shooting up to 309, and the subcooling is skyrocketing. This is, and it's still sweating on the section. This is after I just pulled out against charge. I didn't have squeak pushes on, make sure my gauge did an accurate reading. Oh, that is what it is. Dude, I hate when that happens. My gauge unswiveled a little bit. I thought I was looking at some new special phenomenon, like maybe this thing was infected with the Rona. Always good. Thought I was entering the twilight zone for a second. So, okay, it's back down where it was a second ago. Sometimes the vibrations will just get to the point where it unchecks the opposing low loss fitting, the opposing schrader core, and the low loss fitting, and then you'll isolate the pressures. And what it was doing is it was creeping up that hose from the tank. I don't know how this tank is at a lower pressure, but that was just weird. I just messed with the fitting over there, and it dropped back down to reality. But I did have a correct reading earlier, and as you can see, removed 5 pounds 5 ounces, and it's still got 13.5 degrees of subcooling, and it's in the 90s back there. What's up, Roscoe? Nick, just screwed on good. Yeah, so I screwed a little bit there. How about that? So, talked about this before, using my got the Testos on here, and used the low loss fittings, which always kind of on 410 especially always make it really hard to unscrew them because you have to relieve the pressure. So I put on the schrader core tool removers with the stem part removed, and just used them as ball valves to like bleed that out once I unscrewed a little bit. Well, since I've had these shorties set up that way, I'm like, well, I'm about to add or remove refrigerant. Why go get my manifold set? I have a port right there. Just go grab one little hose. So that's what I do now. I very rarely go get the Testo 557 out anymore. Yeah. So they said this unit cuts out and they turn it off for a while, and then they're able to turn it back on and it cools again. So of course the first thing you're going to think of is condenser fan motor. So I let it run a while as I was trying to figure out which unit's what in this hotel, which one's which one on our label. But turns out that seems to be the one from the lobby that they said cuts out. So fan motor actually just feels okay, pretty okay in it. But then after I let it run and I was getting up over 20 degrees subcooling, I'm thinking on a hot afternoon, this sucker is cutting out. So look at this, I removed over 5 pounds. Subcooling's actually creeping up still a little bit. Superheat, pretty much nothing. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop just a little more refrigerant on there. Just like this. This valve's open again. Take another pound out. Somebody added a lot of extra charge on that unit. Whoever did that one last. Yeah, let's stop it right there. That's another pound. What it was. Gotta look at these closures too. This one's not so bad. Starting to shoot up again when I was leveling off. If it's like 12, I don't touch it. I don't try to adjust it. In fact, that's a good superheat, on some units. And if it's like not lower than 7 or 8, I don't mess with it either. If it's kind of in that ballpark between there, I leave it alone. But when it starts to get up to 20, it starts getting my attention over 20. But right when I started this live video, I didn't realize that fitting was loose, but it started climbing up the head pressure didn't make any sense because my tank is at a lower pressure than that. But when that stem unscrewed, the trapped refrigerant in my gauge just started heating up and climbing. It was just kind of crazy. Ooh, yeah, we definitely leveled off. TXV probably adjusting. It's actually throttling now a little bit, probably because it's so cold. I'm running it very cold in there, so now my low side's dropping. My other concern was that it maybe had a little warm metering device and somebody overcharged it because of that. Well, overcharging sometimes will get your superheat and your suction pressure where you want it, but then it annihilates, the subcooling on the high side. So on a hot day, it ain't gonna like that. And I'm pretty sure it's a TXV in there. It seems to be throttling. So the space is probably getting down around 70-ish. I've dropped it down in ways to keep it on. Leveled off something. So I'm not gonna mess with it anymore. It should be good. But I did pull out pretty much 6.5 pounds on a 4-ton unit there. 4-ton unit that holds about 13 pounds or so. 13, whatever 181 ounces is. 160 would be 10 pounds. Did I say that? Did I say like 11 or so? So 160 would be 10 pounds, and then another 20 ounces would be another pound 4 ounces. So it's like 11 pounds 4 ounces. Somebody had it jacked up pretty close to 20 pounds of refrigerant. 11 pounds 4 ounces plus an additional 6 pounds 10 ounces. That's 17. Yeah, that had an 18 pounds charged into it. Nice. Suction dipped way down. That's coming back up with the real low load in there now. That's probably not abnormal. You are running into where the inlet of that coils could be just dipping into freezing there. This place, hodgepodge, the airflow, everything's probably the undersized returns, things like that. Someone got a little heavy-handed. Yeah, they did. It looks pretty gold now. I'll show you what I had earlier. This was this unit over here, which is on the 3rd floor. Subcooling was right in the ballpark. See that 237 just cycle off there. And low pressure was way up there. Had some superheat, but there's a long line set getting down here from 3rd floor. I didn't even sweat that. So that was that other unit. But then when I got to this unit over here, at like 97 degrees, I think it might be a little cooler than that actually. Yeah, it was going over 20 degrees of subcooling. I let it run a long time and it stayed up there. I'm surprised that's all it was when it pulled out that much refrigerant. That's a pretty big, a lot of coil, a lot of line set for that 4-ton unit. Or actually, this one's just on the 1st floor. Not that long a line set. I don't know. That was a lot of refrigerant. So yeah, had like no superheat basically, but man. And as your TXV starts clamping down, then there's even more refrigerant in the condenser. It'll actually build up that high side even worse. So with the humidity we have and the temperature drop down in there, is 23 degrees superheat's probably typical. I'm even gonna sweat that. Something looks good. After I took out all that refrigerant. Check the comments. Finally made a live video, huh? Like with the phone or something? You guys saw the one I did the other day. Did one with on the PC, but I wasn't that ready. I was just gonna mess around with it, and it wound up turning into an hour-long video. I just made it real quick instead of editing and uploading something. A little less fitting on that. Sometimes live videos just make it a little easier for the spur of the moment stuff. Plus you get the interaction. Everything's going on with that fan motor. I've had that thing running 45 minutes to an hour now. Oop. Yeah, you got to go to the front door on that one. I know this is pretty shameful to even be showing you guys this. I was putting like little bottles in here that I was refilling all the time, but then I thought, man, since I'm buying 2 liters anyway, might as well just, and I have the ice machine at home now. I'm like, let's put a whole 2 liter in here. Which makes, instead of going to the fountain as much. Oh man, I know that looks good. Look at that perfect amount of foam and everything. Yeah. Especially everything come right off the ice. There is, just to show you guys, there is water down underneath the water bottles, and I already slammed one just a little bit ago. Yeah, sorry. Right now it's just DP time. Cheaper, yeah, they are cheaper. You got to drink some water in between them though. When I'm standing in the sun, I have the ice, that little other ice chest next to me on the ground, and I just start grabbing bottles of water out there. I have no problem drinking it then. Yeah, I just heard that Dr. Pepper shortage. There better not be. That's like taking heroin away from a junkie. You can't just do that. I will go postal finally. The Corona ain't enough to do it. It's not cooling yet, lots more Freon, that's right. Blow and go, Jojo. I'd say we're doing okay there. It's probably down to like 69 or 70 there. I know when I went to the lobby earlier to turn it off and turn it back on, I was making sure it's the right unit. It was feeling pretty nice in there. Show you guys why I initially started using the port ball section off of the core remover tools here. Dr. Dr. Pepper and Mountain. So, especially on R410 refrigerants, you get started screwing these low loss fittings, and even this one's stiff. The refrigerant trapped in there makes it get stiff. So what I do is I unscrew it enough threads that I know it's not quite there to pop off. You let it pop all the way up under pressure, it shoots the O-ring out. But then you just crack this valve. It always has the pressure that was trapped in there. And then this just unscrews real easy after that. Look at that. Yeah. Well, I might have to change the title of the video, because when I first started it up, like I was saying, oh, I forgot to take an after picture. Dang it. But you know what? I do save this to email and I will harvest it. Come on. I must have pissed this thing off. There it goes. Alright, so here you go. Export. Email and stuff. This thing's being all sorts of buggy. The iPad. What the heck? Must be real slow for me out here. I told you guys iPads suck. Apple sucks. Hope I don't lose. Yeah, that. Well, I think it went through. I think it's just lagging. I just heard a chime in my ear Bluetooth I'm wearing for this phone, which is why this emailed. Like that. There it goes. Now this is opening up in some default app inside the piece of crap Apple. If I'm opening up Excel, especially on my Microsoft stuff, I can freeze the top frame that tells me high pressure. So high pressure, and then subcooling is going to be the last one. So you can see. First unit, and then I got the second unit. You can just see it was staying up at like 19, and it was 257. Then it started removing refrigerator. That's when the numbers go artificially low, just because I'm removing charge. So I'll go all the way towards the end here, right before I took everything off, right there. Yeah, screwed up. Dang it! I want to go back to the same screen, the same spot. These Apple things just piss me off. Almost as much as Goodman. Probably worse than Goodman. Goodman I could kind of tolerate and just mock them. But I'm just trying to hit that power button. Screenshot. There we go. Here's another thing about Apple that sucks right here, guys. Once you leave your finger off, you cannot put your finger right back down, and now it kind of worked. See, that doesn't work. You have to wait a gap. See? If you go to touch the next letter too fast, it does nothing. Save, and I'll put that in a folder. Good job. Oh, anyway, check the messages on the way out here. I hear you, but you're definitely quieter than you could. Watching on your iPad, I guess. The only thing about that is that thing does last a long time on battery. The battery goes a long time on it. But it does get slow as balls as soon as it gets any heat. And right now it's like 97 in the shade out here, and it's already fogged. And then if it gets warm at all, the sun actually shines on it at all, it's quickly going to where it just has the exclamation mark on the screen. Yeah. Need a stylus. I have a cheap one right here, but if you stay doing cursive, it'll keep doing the strokes. But if you lift off the screen and right back on, if you do it real fast, like one letter, then another letter, then another letter, if you do it too fast and don't wait, it doesn't draw. You have to wait a second, and it's weird. So if I try to do like R, 2 real quick, it won't do it. It'll do the first. Sometimes it's like the first line for the R, and I go like this. It'll only do the line and won't do this part. It does it to me all the time. It's just they just suck. I'll do it again. Now that you guys are watching, ELS. Weird. Oops. Even with my finger, I don't know why it's working now. Because you saw what I was doing earlier, and then I've tried it with that stupid stylus. Thing's making an ass out of me now. The phone I'm recording with is a Note 10, and it has the pop-out stylus. That thing's pretty sensitive, works pretty good. I also have the stylus for my Surface Pro, which I keep at home. It's an old one, but I have a Surface Go, which is the one that a lot more battery efficient, but it's not a i5 or i7 series. It's something else. It's fast enough to use, you know, but the battery lasts a lot longer than the Pro. And it has I have a stylus for it, and the stylus works pretty good on that. Yeah, if you just do basic stuff like this iPad's fine for just like using the Testo apps and stuff like that. But and it's good for stuff like that because it'll actually sit there and run for hours without the battery going way down. The battery's at 88%, 88%. So that part of it's about the only good thing. Anyway, yeah, they have pros and cons, but I still hate Apple. They're for little biskers and girls. Yeah, I'm just messing around. That's always what I like to say. It makes people mad. Because girls like it because it's just a shiny, popular thing. And then there's certain kind of dudes that like it because they're trying to be like girls that like shiny, popular things. And then there's just other dudes that are normal dudes, they just don't know them. And haven't, you know, gotten themselves a Galaxy instead or something. How weathered this thing is, man. I keep saying it and we'll but anyway. Alright, I call it quits on the video. Get this wrapped up. I need to go get some condensate. They have one that said that froze up and leaked, but I wonder if it just leaked and they told me the wrong. But there's nothing else to charge on this, so it's not even near freezing point. So, but there was no trap and no vent on a, you know, air handler vertical up there in the closet. So you know it's negative pressure there on the line, so can't even blow it out or check it. So I'm gonna probably leave to go get all the fittings for that. So, yeah. With that, I'll catch you guys later. Yeah, go have fun with that drain. It's not fun. All right. Bye.